Kim, as we were just discussing the positives, the outlook for growth, and that the company managements perhaps, they set low bars, and they were even somewhat optimistic. But I do want to talk about some of the risks that are out there, and there are, of course, a number. It's an election year in the United States. We've got two wars going on right now. We don't know if the Fed is going to be able to orchestrate a soft landing. But the other one that doesn't get talked enough about, I don't think, but maybe it doesn't need to, I don't know. And this is my question to you. Are the regional banks? It was only a year ago that we saw the demise of so many regional banks, either going bankrupt or the stock prices declining. And that issue really still hasn't gone away. So how do you interpret that into your thinking?
Sure. Well, here in the States, we have a ton of banks, and we used to have a super ton. I don't know what superlative you want to use. We had a lot of very small banks. And since I guess the original banking crisis of my time, which happened when I was alive in the 80s, the savings and loan crisis, when,
Mm,
if you remember that, a listener of ours, that really started the consolidation of banks. But we still have, I believe the number is like 2,000 banks here in America, and a lot of them
yeah.
are smaller, and they're forced to make money to make risky loans. And by risky loans, it's not necessarily to individuals, although they do originate mortgages, but that isn't a big, that doesn't remain on the bank balance sheets. That being said, commercial real estate in its many forms does end up on these banks' balance sheets. Now, there's several areas of caution. We've changed how we go to work. A lot of people, even though they're back to work, they're not there every day. And so they need less square footage. And that is showing up as a huge risk that everyone here is very concerned about. There's
Mm,
also, we're very much overstored here. So there's a lot of smaller shopping centers. And again, that are half empty, not very profitable. And those are on the balance sheets of many regional and smaller banks. If
mm,
you're somebody that's looking for a bargain, you might look at these things, look at their balance sheet and go, that looks pretty good. If their um, tangible book value looks higher, but beware,
mhm.
because they may not have an accurate view or an accurate assessment of the tangible book value. And I think that is a huge risk. Do I think it could bring down the economy? The answer is no. I think it will bring down regions, but and we have a pretty robust ability to make banks buy other banks here. But I
Right.
think I think it is an investor should be very cautious about selecting a bank without knowing exactly where those properties are that are on the balance sheet, what they
Right.
are, and if they're good or not.
Got it. And in big picture too, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be any type of systemic risk. And maybe, we saw that last year that it wasn't. So we can kind of put that maybe to the side, or that's what we're going to do right now. Is there any other key risks that you're thinking about in investing and in the portfolios right now that you want to protect?
Well, this is a blessing and a curse because it happened at the same time and it was kind of offsetting to Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank failure was AI. And I think this is an incredible opportunity. I was a software engineer. We'll get into that maybe later. So
Yeah.
I understand that AI has some incredible facets to it. I believe we now have fast computers and enough data, but like all investing, people have gotten into this thing in a powerful way, pretty much using one stock, NVIDIA. I'm talking about you. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, our our market was driven by one stock last year, essentially. And that is a big danger. And so I think you have to be measured in your investing in these hot tech trends because it rarely plays out like you think in the beginning of the trend.
Hmm. And yet it's been amazing because NVIDIA just keeps going and going.
Yes. Yes. And
And
today we're
it's,
going to get the earnings announcement, and all hopes are pinned on a great outperformance, and we'll see.
yeah. Um, it's interesting as well because when people invest and the market's been really driven by a couple of stocks, it's a question mark as to whether or not you should just invest in an ETF that will be carried through because of those stocks, or if you try to find good stocks to own. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back and we'll talk about stocks.